Don't you look at that rascal. Yeah, that's what we after. Really good eating fish. Vegetables, we got that fish, and that is, what you think, Riley?
It's like going to a restaurant.
Oh man, how about that? Yeah. Welcome back to Brilliant Fishing. Today's goal is to boat a couple of stripers and do a catch, clean, and cook. Got a few recipes in mind I'd like to try out, so let's see if we can catch some fish. All right, got some live action. Catfish always keep it entertaining, you know. It's all fun and games until you get a bunch of lines tangled. Oh, it's not a catfish. It's a daggum striper. All right, stay tuned. So I was wrong. There we go. Whew. That's what I like to see right there. Fish in the net. That one right there is a chunky one, I'm just gonna tell you. We'll weigh it, measure it, but whew, I think I got my heart rate up on that one. Son. Whew. Don't you look at that rascal. Yeah, that's what we after. Whew. All right. So catching these on bucktails with a green worm. It's not the only way to catch them, but this seems to work better in the summertime. This type of combination on some of these bigger fish. I love it. Mission accomplished as far as catching our fish for our catch, clean, and cook. We're gonna troll around here a little bit more, see if we can pick up a couple more, maybe for some future meals. But we'll take this fish home, and I've got some ideas on how we're gonna cook this up, and we're gonna enjoy it, I'm gonna tell you what. So stick around, we're gonna talk about how we take care of this fish between now and time to eat it. So part of that is, well, first of all, we're gonna keep the fish alive in the live well for the time being. But in a little bit, I'm gonna bleed that fish, and so I'm gonna use probably a pair of scissors or a fillet knife. I'm gonna bleed that fish out. We're gonna let that bleed out probably in the live well briefly, just for mess purposes. And then we're gonna put that fish immediately on ice. And so that is super important. We're gonna put that fish on ice, get all of those blood vessels to constrict. It'll move what blood is left in that fish in toward the center of the fish, make it easier to cut out. So when we get ready to fillet this fish, we're gonna cut the red meat out and all of that, but it will not be a bloody mess once we bleed it and we put it on ice for a period of time. All right, we're gonna clean this rascal up for our catch, clean, and cook. It was a beautiful day on the water yesterday. It was a blessing to get out and catch this fish. Some of our local lakes, our stripers don't get all that big, but this one was about a 27-inch fish. So definitely a decent fish. We're gonna get some good eating off of this rascal. So got a couple recipes in mind. I'm not sure which one we're gonna do, but right now we're gonna clean this thing up. As you saw in the video earlier, I bled this fish out, cut the gills with a pair of scissors, put it in the live well, let the blood get out of the meat, and then I have kept this fish on ice now for about 24 hours. Nothing magical about 24 hours. That's just how long I had before got done with work today and had time to clean this fish. But it's been on ice, good to go. Now, so we're gonna go ahead and clean this thing up, and we'll fillet it, and we'll show you a couple of things, and then we'll cook it up. So got my Dexter fillet knife, 7-inch. I believe this is the 7-inch model Dexter fillet knife. Super love this knife. I've had it since about a year ago. We did the Christmas video. Great gift for an angler in your life, Dexter fillet knife. Really like this one. It's just got the right amount of flexibility, holds an edge real good. And so we're gonna fillet this fish, cut these fillets off, and then we're gonna trim out all the red. So let's get into it. So we'll start up here, get underneath these scales, the front. We're just gonna get under the skin and just work down the back. I'm just using the tip of the blade. When I get down here, I'm gonna go all the way through, and just go ahead and trim that out. Now, we'll go back up to the front. We'll start working down over the rib cage and then take this fillet off. This is some good looking white meat right here, I'm gonna tell you. So it's gonna be good for lots of different things. Now, this striper, if you take care of it, get the blood out of it and cut out all the red line, it's a really good eating fish. Can be good for lots of different things. It's really not that strong. It's actually pretty good. So you can see that turned out pretty white right there. If you can see that, I hold it up here a little closer. See, this fillet is pretty white after we bled them out. So we got a lot of that came out. Now we're gonna cut out the bloodline. I'll show you how we do that. So I'm just gonna lay this thing out. Now what I like to do before I trim the skin off is go right here. You always got some pin bones. And so I'm just gonna cut right here and kind of cut me a little V around those before I cut the skin off the fish. Now, a trick here that I like to do is I'm trimming this fish, the skin off right here, is don't get down like super tight to the skin and get every little last bit off, because that's next to the skin is going to be kind of red, not all that great to eat anyway. So we're gonna not trim it super close. We're gonna come up and just kind of skim, just leave just a little bit, like 1/8 of an inch. We're gonna leave stuck to the skin. We're gonna discard that. It's not that great anyway. So start back here. Another thing I like to do, and this is just my personal preference, I like to try to not save this first little bit right here, because if there's a strong tasting piece on the fish, it's going to be right here near the tail. There's a lot of red in here anyway. You're not missing much if you just start up here above it, an inch or two, and then just, okay? So let's go ahead and do it. Okay. All right. So you can see we did that. What we're left with here. This was kind of the goal. We left a lot of that red on here. And on here, we've just got a minimal little bloodline right here to trim out. We're gonna do that right now. So, and we'll flip this thing over, cut out the piece that's got my pin bones on it, which will have the red on the back anyway. We'll get rid of that. And then what I like to do, so I missed a pin bone, we'll go ahead and get that now. All right, and then I'm gonna trim off any of this red that's kind of right down here in this middle. And we're gonna get rid of that. Cut that right there. Trim that a little bit off right there. And missed a little bit right there. All right. Get a little bit right here. And we're gonna talk about some good eating right there. Now that right there is a high quality piece of fish. And again, starts with getting that fish bled out, getting it on ice. This right here is going to be super mild and flaky, and I think I've talked myself into it. I'm going to bake this fish. So I'm going to go ahead and clean the rest of this fish. Same way on the other side. I'll see you in the kitchen. All right, we got our striper cleaned, and since we just had the one striper, we actually, Riley and I went and caught some crappie to go with this. So we got some our striper fillets, we got about half a dozen crappie worth of fillets. We're gonna broil these fish under a low broil, and it's gonna be amazing. We're gonna make a special sauce out of some of this stuff right here. But first we're gonna pop this in the oven. We're gonna broil these about 5 minutes, wait for the fish to turn white, and then I'll see you back here where we're gonna put this sauce on it. All right, we're gonna make a garlic butter Parmesan sauce to put on this fish. We're gonna broil it on there. It's just gonna be really good. Now, what I'm doing is starting with about a half a stick of melted butter. I'm gonna hit it with a little bit of salt. I'm gonna hit it also with a little bit of black pepper. You can see I'm measuring this very carefully. Making this recipe, you don't measure the things with spoons or cups. You measure it with your soul. So we're gonna hit it with some garlic. Probably about half a teaspoon. I'm also gonna hit it with a generous amount of dill, some dried dill. Put that in there. We're gonna give it a couple splashes of the good old Tabasco, which is gonna be really good. All right, then we're gonna hit it with a big old generous helping of this Duke's mayo. So we're gonna give that probably about, I'm gonna say, probably a little over a half a cup, maybe 2/3 of a cup. And then we're gonna hit it with some Parmesan cheese. And so we've got some grated Parmesan cheese. We're gonna just sort of guesstimate it about a third to half of a cup. And so we're gonna mix that up. If you wanna see this. And it's gonna be really good. And what we're gonna do is, just a second, we're gonna pull that fish out of the oven and we're gonna spoon this on and let that bake on there, and that's gonna be really good. All right, so the next step, we got our fish broiled. It's all been cooking for maybe 5 or 10 minutes, just long enough to get it white through. The fish is actually cooked, and so now we're gonna spoon this stuff on. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to spread it out that much because it's gonna melt and go down in and around all of that fish. And this dish is really good with rice, so we're cooking up some rice. And of course this sauce, you could put this on a shoe and it would make it taste good. So, so we're gonna cook up, we've got some vegetables. I've got some Brussels sprouts and sweet onions that we roasted in the oven. We're gonna put some, like I said, some rice on our plate. And we're also, I've got some zucchini squash that we sauteed a little bit. And so now I'm just gonna pop that back in the oven and let it broil. I turn around to check on the fish and look what's happening with the bowl here. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Apparently it's finger licking good. You can see that stuff's melting down in there, getting all brown and bubbly and delicious. Okay, this is what we got. We got some vegetables. We got that fish, and that is smelling good right there. Little rice, what you think, Riley?
Woo! Oh, not eating yet.
Oh, he's even got the Brilliant Fishing shirt on today. How about that?
Oh, not eating yet, Daddy.
Right now. All right, taste test. What's everybody think?
Pretty good to me.
Good.
Tastes like going to a.
So I like Mom. She's got to put it on her rice. That's a good plan right there. Get all those juices go down in the rice. I like it. What you think, Riley?
Tastes like going to a restaurant.
Oh man, how about that? Yeah, that does look good. Yeah, boy, that's one thing that gets gone is the sauce. All right, well, this is it. So got a big old piece of this striper fillet with that sauce. Really good. You bleed them out, put them on ice, take care of them, get all the bones out, get all the red meat out. This is like eating a piece of flounder, like a big thick piece of flounder. It's really good. Appreciate you riding along with us, hanging out in the kitchen. It was Brilliant Fishing, signing off.